My name is Katia. I'm going to talk about justice, the fight for justice. The best way to summarize the whole issue for me is this sentence. It's not loving a man that makes life harder for gay guys. It's homophobia. It's not the color of their skin that makes life harder for people of color. It's racism. It's not having vaginas that make life harder for women. Human rights and justice are randomly distributed. Discrimination, feeling superior to another, it's not only a thought, an ideology. It's employed every day in our society, denying human rights and justice to millions of human beings. Why it's so difficult to accept that we are all human beings with an intrinsic dignity? Begin, women have been discriminated against in society and in many cultures still are. In 22 countries, women still did not have equal political rights to vote in an election, run for election to any office, hold political office, or exercise any public function. Besides, the United Nations drafts the Convention of Consent to Marriage and minimum age for marriage. Today, however, an estimated 650 million of the world women were married as children, and the total number of girls who marry children is estimated at 12 million a year. Furthermore, lower female literacy and unequal access to education, it's predicted that 17 million will never go to school. This condemns girls to be more likely to marry, be early mothers, have poorer health, and be less employable, thus perpetuating their poverty. To sum up, women are denied the right to politics, education, and sometimes they are not even masters of their own lives, their own bodies. Similarly, racial disparity is still present in today's society. For example, in New York, in 1911, of the 114,000 teenagers that were stopped and frisked, 87% were Black and Latino, and most of them were young men, and there are only 177,000 young Black and Latino men in New York. People who were incarcerated lost voting rights and other privileges that uprooted them from society. In addition, the income gap is one of the most striking aspects of inequality between blacks and whites. A black person is twice as likely to live in poverty. Maternal age and childbearing and infant mortality is directly related to maternal education. Infant death outcomes are directly related to lower levels of education within the black population. They have a double infant mortality rate according to the CDC. In essence, black people are poorer, have less education, more infant mortality, more likely to be incarcerated as adults, and this stigma of incarceration tends to create a lower caste that perpetuates inequality. On the other hand, the homosexual and transsexual community were equally discriminated against by society. First, one out of 3 countries punished homosexual relation as a criminal, 11 with death. Second, in countries like Tanzania, homosexual people were beaten and taken to jail if they met in clubs. Third, there is no gender law that protects trans people. The identity document has one gender, but the employer meets a person of another gender. They cannot be enrolled in the army, or they are expelled if their sexuality rebel despite having served their entire life in the military. Many never get a stable job and even turn to the prostitution. And finally, adopted children before the law are only recognized as children of only one of their homosexual parents. In this way, not having both parents legally recognized means that children enjoy fewer rights and are not protected by the same laws as any other children. In brief, Both homosexual and transsexual people and their children are not protected by the same law as the rest of society. They are discriminated against at work, and judicially, they are treated as second-class citizens. In conclusion, equality of rights is something that is not evident to everyone, and unfortunately that is reflected in the law and behavior of society. Differences, inequality, and injustice exist. If we don't see them, first we can never fight them. If something is repeated through history, it's the fight for freedom. In my opinion, the fight is for justice. The justice that everyone seeks is based on the idea that are all equal, that we recognize with the same respect and dignity as the rest. There is always a fight for the radical idea that all human beings are worthy human beings. If when we see injustice, we fight against it, a just world will become a reality. Thank you very much.